Hey guys, welcome back to Kai Dragon Garden and Cooking. I'm here with Ann, the survivor of a glass wound, and we are here to talk about gardening. You know, reflections of this year. Is a lot of the plants are going to get wiped out next week by the cold. Finally have it. There's not a lot we can do. We're going to frost cloth what we can. Hopefully see what we can survive. Get back into the swing of things, and then unfortunately she took a very bad shard of glass through the hand, which was a nightmare for us because it was bad. It went right all the way through her hand, and big shard of glass. I still have not decided if I want to try to put it on YouTube as a warning, because I don't know how YouTube will take it, seeing the piece of glass. There's nothing gory to it, but I just, sometimes you just don't know how they're going to do it. So here's a public announcement message.
We can talk about what happened.
Well, we can talk about what happened, but as a public message, when you're digging in a hole, especially soil that you are not familiar with, please be very cautious, because there could be glass from the previous homeowner, the previous construction guys, whatever the case may be. She had a piece of glass that was about this big that had the blade up and went right into her hand when she went down.
It was about 4 inches long. And
you got to be really careful on that, because she had to go to the doctor's office, get all sorts of shots and stuff. It wasn't good. Just getting it to stop bleeding was ridiculous, and she's still not 100%. And this happened several weeks ago.
On the 10th of November. Was planting flower bulbs. Wanted to get about 100 different bulbs planted to get things ready for spring. Encourage more hummingbirds and different birds to come and visit our garden area, and more different types of pollinators.
It's fascinating. I'll come out here occasionally and sit here and have some coffee with her or chat with her, and you have birds that are 3 feet near you. So she's worked hard to create this bird sanctuary, because she's definitely a big bird watcher when it comes to that.
So I was using a garden claw and working up the soil in an area that I thought I knew pretty well from 3 years ago, but I had never went really deep with it. And I knew that the bulbs had to go 4 to 6 inches deep, because I was planting a lot of alum and daffodils and some lilies and different things that you have to plant, you know, in the late fall. And I was reaching down to make sure I got the bulb clear down into the hole, and felt something just instant sting, and I thought, what kind of bug could be down there, because I'm so allergic. As I started to pull my hand out of that hole, there was glass stuck inside of my hand, and it looked like a knife blade. It was about 4 inches long, and of course you're supposed to leave sharp objects intact and go get help. I panicked, yanked it out of my hand, tossed it, and it looked terrible. My hand was completely covered by the time I got into the house and could get to a sink to start washing my hand with cold water, and my husband came to the rescue to help get me cleaned up and stuff. And I knew I needed to get a tetanus shot, so the next day I went, got the tetanus shot. The doctor felt around in my hand. It was very sore and tender, and also had to be put on an antibiotic. And he told me it may or may not heal on its own for several days, because if there was anything else in there, it was going to work its way out.
Which it did.
My hand would start randomly bleeding again, and I had another little piece of glass come out. I had some wood come out, so evidently whatever I got into was pretty gnarly. So just when you're planting things any time of year, even when you're buying bags of dirt at the store and you don't know what's in there, so just be really careful. In this case, probably having gloves on might have done me more harm than good, because I may not have been able to get the glove off in time to wash. But normally I do wear garden gloves when I am working. So just a word of wisdom there. I did get my bulbs planted later.
But you could probably get more light on the hole to look in there before you stick your hand in there, because even though you've used the claw to get stuff out, you may have unintentionally pulled a big shard of glass, and when you stick your hand down there, because the hole for the bulb is only probably about the size of your hand, so when you're sticking down there, you don't know what's in there, and next thing you know, you're like her. And thankful that somebody was here, because that could have been really catastrophic, as bad as the amount of blood as she was losing. So I mean,
yeah, I was pretty lightheaded afterwards. So yeah, I just want people to be aware when you are gardening. And like I said, I think next spring it's going to look pretty though, because we did come back out, and after I got all bandaged up and everything, we did get over 100 bulbs
She's
planted.
a trooper. I would not have been out there with a sore hand still doing it, but Dad helped her get a lot of them in, because, you know, I think he felt bad. He's not much for the gardening. That's part of the reason why we never really had a full-length video of the shade cloth coming up, because he didn't want to be on camera. He does not want, and so, you know, as a journalist, as you guys may know from my other channel, I have to respect the other person's wishes. So, you know, because I want to be as fair as I can. So in this case, you know, I just, you know. And for those that know from X, you guys have already seen the picture of the glass and stuff. Yeah, I'm just thankful there was no permanent damage to her hand. Could have been way worse, but
that's my drawing hand, and anybody that knows me, I am an artist and an author, and I do a lot of drawing. Anyway, I do have some really cool plans for next year. I've already got a journal out, revamping ideas for the garden. Want to do more with vertical gardening next year. Going to do more growing with trellises. Found neat little fencing ideas, so I ordered some of that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of new stuff come spring. I'm looking forward to that. Over the winter months, probably be doing more with the cooking side of things. And I am working on a line of merch for Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking channel. We do have some new business cards for people who haven't found us to help find the channel. I've been handing those out. But I am working on a garden journaling book for Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking channel, and a coloring book for the kiddies. So I have a lot of drawing to do with my hands, so I'm hoping that's going to be well enough that I can really get some of that stuff done this winter and make things really cool for you guys. Part of the reason why we do this mother and son project not only is because we enjoy gardening so much, and we love growing our own food, and always make sure that you grow what you like to eat. And you know, we try out different recipes and stuff, so it's good to grow different things and experiment. And if you got really cool neighbors, you know, give stuff away if you have too much stuff, or learn how to do canning and freezing. And
canning and freezing is probably the most important thing you can pick up, because that stuff doesn't go bad very quickly. In fact, because I'm having to do more diet food, especially due to health reasons, 3 days ago, I was making steak salad, because we had some skirt steak that I cooked on the grill after I put carne asada on stuff, which it was so dark, there was no way I was going to be able to film something like that. I'd have to do that more in the day. But what I did was I had Mom, when she was downstairs, said, hey, could you grab me a can of your salsa? She canned that salsa 2 years ago. There was nothing wrong with it. It was sealed tightly. It was perfect. Used the whole thing for my steak salads throughout the week, and
it was delicious.
Yes, and so canning like that will save you money in the long run, because I mean, if you go to the store to buy salsa, it's gonna depend on what you buy. It can be costly for the same size jar, but the beautiful part is we know what we put in ours. I mean, you may have a list of ingredients on the side, but a lot of times they may add extra stuff that's unnecessary. Hers was literally cilantro, onion, peppers, and tomatoes. And then she mixed it all together, cooked it all together, and lemon juice, yeah, because you got to have, and salt for the preserving. So lemon juice and salt is part of the preserving process of canned goods when you're canning. And tastes great. It was perfect. Couldn't ask for a better salsa, and I think she's got still hundreds of them.
And I'll probably make some more salsa with green tomatoes, because I'm going to have a bunch of tomatoes I have to pick
actually, tomorrow. I would ring the bell on that one.
We might do something different with the green tomatoes this year.
Since we have so much of that, I would think we just need to ripen them in the brown bags and then make canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and we can do a video on that to show you guys how to make just straight up canned tomatoes. And we can also do some pasta sauce process, because believe it or not, you do not need corn syrup and all that extra crap they throw in a canned pasta sauce in the store. You can have delicious pasta sauce with just a few short ingredients, and if you do it right, it's fantastic. It's a chef's kiss. That's why I grow Roma tomatoes, because I think they have the best flavor for pasta sauce. And well, Romas are one of those big staples in most Italian foods in places like Italy.
And so this time of year, when fall hits, start thinking about next year. It's the perfect time to get yourself a notebook or a journal and write down some of the things that you know that you want to grow, things that your family absolutely loves, vegetables that you are constantly buying at the store and you want to try. And follow us and look at some of the videos and get some of the ideas that we've already tried. We're going to show you our successes and failures. We didn't do a whole lot of experiments this year, but we plan to do a lot more next year.
We ran out of time. By the time we started getting the channel operational and everything, the season had passed. We didn't know what she was going to do at first when she came in here. The reason I set out to do Kai Dragon Gardening Cooking is because I always liked cooking and gardening, and individually that was one of the things that I wanted to do. And then Mom retired, and she loved gardening and she loved doing all this stuff, and she wanted to jump in on this idea. And I will tell you one thing, you know, as we get older, we have to reflect a little bit on who we work with and what we do. And you know, Mom and I missed a lot of years together between her job, my job, us not being in the same town, everything. And when we actually plan all this stuff out, when we figure out what we're doing, it's been fun working with her. So she's been a fantastic business partner in this project, and I get to spend time with my mom. You know, just being 67, you know, always scares me, because life's too short. And some of those that know, even with my own health scare, you know, mortality is real. And I don't want to miss time with my friends or family. And that's something that you have to really consider. And so doing this project, I feel, is also uplifting, because it shows families can still work together. I know there's a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of anger towards each other. There's especially politics. Politics have driven everybody at each other's throats, and it doesn't have to be that way.
No, and another thing that people need to reflect on, there are so many digital content creators out there doing YouTube channels and stuff, there is room for everybody. So if you are one of those people that is jealous of someone else's success, think about this. You need to surround yourself with people that like to do some of the same things you do and learn from them. Learn and grow together. Don't nitpick at one another. Don't pick on elderly people. You can get some sick jolly out of it because life is too short for that.
Well, one thing I would say is competition's good for content creation. It keeps people with new ideas, but I mean, because yes, there's always an idea has been done, but you're respinning the idea or you're coming up with a new concept, the idea. It's still innovation, and the thing is, I would happily enjoy competition with some of the stuff I do because it gives me ideas of what can I improve better. And I'm not thinking on it from the money side. If you've got somebody with $1 million that's doing $100,000 production, you're not going to compete with them. But at the same time, how authentic are they at that point when they're having that kind of money where the average Joe, you either live paycheck to paycheck or you save some and you're just trying to get by. I'd rather stick with the more authentic ones than the wild productions, personally.
Do what you love. It's all an art, and where would we be without artists and musicians and people who paint and draw and books and other forms of entertainment? You need to think outside the box and be more open-minded. If you got a chip on your shoulder and you want to go attacking somebody for no reason, you need to grow up. And
let's just say she posted. So I'll just say she posts some on Facebook about gardening and she's very much into faith, and she said some as God is good. Oh dear Lord, she got so many hateful comments. It's just like, holy crap, are you guys I was just like, what is wrong with people? And it's like, don't have hate in your heart, find serenity, because that's, and
getting
cherish.
Back to nature.
Yeah.
I mean, gardening is one of the most wonderful ways to get back to nature and outside your own home, and you can grow so much in a small space.
It's funny when you have birds 3 feet from you because they're so used to you and they know you're not harming anything, or they know you're feeding them, and they'll just come right near you and they'll watch you like, oh, that's cool, what are you doing? And it's like, I mean, we have doves that come on the ground and walk around and just eat, and they look at you like, whatever, because they know you ain't doing anything.
I can remember, they used to say if you saw a red bird early in the morning, it was going to be a blessed day, or that doves were the sacred bird. Not watching the birds and watching how they come and take turns, like the blue jays, there'll be 5 or 6 of them taking turns to come after a peanut and stuff. It's just great, peaceful entertainment to come out and have a cup of tea
And the first thing that comes to mind every time I see blue jays dive bombing down for a peanut is the Flight of the Valkyrie song. Dun, 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 dun. And then they take off and go again. And it's like, it's hilarious watching them. But sometimes you get some rare moments, like I had a blue jay on the ground. Blue jays don't land on the ground typically to get stuff. They don't lurk around on the ground. They're a bird that's very cautious. They'll be down for a second, grab stuff and leave, because they're unfortunately a big target for predators because of the color of their wings and everything. They're really vibrant birds.
But support one another and be happy with what you do, and make your garden and the things that you do, make it fun. If you like to cook, try new things. Get new recipes. During the fall, we like to have a lot of soups and salads. There's so many different things out there, so many different recipes, and you can tweak it a little bit, make it your own.
And you're making me think of the chicken parmesan. So I made chicken parmesan. We were trying to get a little bit healthier, so I used coconut oil as a substitute. And the thing I did differently is we didn't use pasta, we didn't have flour, we didn't have carbs. We used spaghetti squash, and it was
great.
It was some of the best chicken parmesan I had. The squash blended so well. It may not taste like exactly like noodles, but if you cook it well enough and it's soft enough, and you add this pasta sauce to it, and then you have your chicken parmesan, holy crap, it's delicious. And you're eating something way healthier than you would by doing that. And that was a new experiment that I did this year, and now I'm sold on spaghetti squash. We just made chicken Alfredo last week with spaghetti squash, and I'm just like, okay, we can substitute some of the stuff out. It doesn't mean you have to cut pasta out of your life, but you can substitute some of that stuff out to eat healthier and reduce how much sugar
we'll
and stuff.
Growing that next year.
Yeah, we're sold on that one. That one's gonna be heavy.
Squash is definitely going to be a must-have in the garden. You know, this year we didn't ever have any zucchini actually take off. We had the yellow squash and the patty pan and some of the other stuff, and it was wonderful.
But every time we did, the vine borers got it. That was the problem.
But, you know, next year we're going to try different things. And
even if we have to try to get really harsh, thick netting where they cannot get through somehow, and we have to go out in the morning, use a Q-tip and pollinate the plants ourselves with the Q-tip.
But there's so many things you can do, and you just want to keep an open mind and enjoy what you do. Make it a reflection of you. Make it your happy place, a place where you like to go, and it gives you a sense of peace. And you know, nobody can take that from you, and nobody can take the knowledge that you learn from your experiences away either. I mean, that's something that you can pass on from generation to generation, and get your kids involved with things that you do outside. They love picking fruit and harvesting some of the stuff. They like picking beans off the trellises. They enjoy that. I mean, I've had several of the neighbors now. I've got to know his neighbors. I've had little garden tours with some of them, teaching different people how to do things. It's fun for me, and I am very glad that my son decided to do a mother-son channel. It's bonding time. I don't care what anybody does or says. They can't take those moments away from us.
That's good memories.
We're building memories that
stay on YouTube.
we missed out on. You know, I had a high-stress job that I worked for 27 years, and there was a lot of times I didn't get to spend with my son, a lot of holidays that we missed out on.
Missed a lot of holidays in that swing shift. I mean, you're working 3 12s, and then you're working 4 12s, and basically getting time off is almost impossible. And when you're working those type of jobs, your first day is always sleeping, trying to catch up on rest. And then that second day is usually trying to get caught up around your house or other stuff. So what time do you have?
So, and another thing that I want to focus on next year is different ways that you can build patio furniture and stuff. We have built a pallet bed, as we call it, that you can sit on or lay down and watch the birds.
We've built something like this that we're sitting on. We've built benches out of 4x4s and cinder blocks.
And it's great because they outlast some of the stuff that you buy in the store.
Yeah, especially you go buy those plastic lawn chairs or whatever, those things fall apart, especially over very quickly, depending on the size of the person, the weather conditions and stuff. Then you have to worry about space, whereas the only thing you have to worry about with a lot of this stuff is just pulling the cushions.
So get creative, do a lot of planning, take time. You know, you will end up getting your family involved. I never thought it would end up that way, but my husband really does show a big interest in what we do, and Zane has watched more garden videos and even shown me some ideas and say, hey, have you seen this, or read an article about something and
we
said,
like to
hey,
put
do
our
you
own
want to
twist
try
on
this?
stuff and see if it
So-
works. I mean, if we had more land, I would love to be experimenting with different things and cross-pollinating and see what you can come up with. Because I think it's kind of neat if you can cross-pollinate something and get a new kind of hybrid plant. It's pretty cool.
And remember to plant some flowers in with your vegetables and vice versa. It makes it incredible. And your herbs, like your oreganos, your rosemary, some of those are a natural insect repellent, so keep that kind of stuff in mind. So just plan ahead, make things your happy place, and love the environment. And when it's fall like it is now, the leaves that fall in the ground, rake them up, throw them on your garden beds. As we tear down, I will be throwing more leaves on there because they will decompose and they will help the soil. They will help rebuild that soil. So
Yeah.
it's just like liquid gold. I mean, all those leaves that have turned color and fallen on the ground, they are great to add to your soil.
So anyway, we're going to wrap this up for this episode with Kai and Mom. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget, Kai Dragon Gardening is like dragon fire.
Yes, absolutely.
And she's
we
going to say, let us
appreciate
remain
you.
happy. So,
Don't be melancholy.
all right. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.